Good day, everyone. Today, let's talk about the core course 5 of the Teacher Induction Program of DepEd. Under this course, we'll be talking about the relevant laws for teachers. One law is the Magna Carta for public school teachers under the Public Act number 467T. Section 1 states to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers. Why? Because, when I was still a student, I remember yung teacher ko nagtitinda ng ice candy during recess. So as a student, kailangan kong suportahan si teacher. So bibili ako. And then, mababalitaan mo yung ibang teacher nagtitinda ng tosino, longganisa, etc. Okay, nandyan din yung loan dito, loan doon, kaya tinawag na taga-London. Okay? So, there is something wrong, not necessarily wrong, but there is still something to improve regarding the social and economic status as well as their living and working conditions. So for that, Section 1, it is hereby declared to be the policy of this act to promote and improve the social economic status of public school teachers, their living and working conditions, their terms of employment, and career prospects in order that they may compare favorably with existing opportunities in other walks of life, attract and retain teaching profession, more people with the proper qualifications. It is being recognized that advance in education depends on the qualifications and ability of the teaching staff, and that education is an essential factor in the economic growth of the nation as a productive investment of vital importance. So Section 2, this act shall be known as the Magna Carta for public school teachers and shall apply to all public school teachers except professorial staff of state colleges and universities. When we say teacher, this includes the guidance counselors, school librarians, industrial arts or vocational instructors, our principal, department heads, our supervisors, and all other persons performing supervisory or administrative functions in all schools, colleges, and universities operated by the government or its political subdivisions. But teachers shall not include the school nurses, school physicians, school dentists, and other school employees. Section 2 explains the recruitment and career in the teaching profession. For teachers in the kindergarten and elementary grades, bachelor's degree in elementary education. How about in the secondary schools? So for teachers of the secondary schools, bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent with a major and a minor, or a bachelor's degree in arts or science with at least 18 professional units in education. For teachers of secondary vocational and 2 years technical courses, bachelor's degree in the field of specialization with at least 18 professional units in education. For teachers of courses on the collegiate level other than vocational, master's degree with a specific area of specialization. So what does this mean? There must be a vertical alignment of your undergrad, masteral, and doctoral if you choose the teaching career line. For example, BSE major in biology, then Master of Arts in Education or Master of Arts in Philosophy or in Science, major in biology. And if you plan to take the higher level, so PhD in biology. Do not take up educational management, educational leadership, unless you plan to shift from a teaching career line to an administrative career line. Section 4 is about the probationary period. So, probationary period is when a person possesses the minimum educational qualifications but lacks the appropriate civil service eligibility. So, such person shall be appointed on a provisional status for not less than 1 year from and after the date of his provisional appointment. Actually, you are so lucky no, dahil hindi nyo na pinagdaanan ang probationary period. When you entered DepEd, automatically you have already the national item. So you are so very lucky for that. I remember when I was still applying for the teaching profession, so I applied in a particular school in the province. Okay, so since fresh graduate lang ako noon, and PBET, Professional Board Exam for Teacher, napakadagal noon bago maibigay yung result ng exam. And then, so I had the interview, the demonstration teaching, and then there is a transparency. So, i-mail nila sa amin yung result ng application. So, makikita doon yung applicant 1, 2, 3, 4. So, talagang makikita na ako yung leading sa lahat ng aspeto except dun sa civil service eligibility, which is nilagay nila 0. But during the interview, tinanong ako, how sure are you na pasado ka sa PIBET? And then I said, I'm 100% sure that I will pass the professional board exam for teachers. And then, makikita mo talaga sa itsura or sa facial expressions ng mga nag-i-interview sa akin na talagang naa-amaze din sila. No? So, namamangha sila na ganun ako katapang na magsabi ng ganun. Okay, what if hindi? So, kahihiyan ko yon. But I took up the risk. Pero, hindi pa rin nila ako tinanggap dahil doon nga sa ranking is lumabas na 0. Pero ngayon, na-realize ko na mahina yung principal. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kung nakikita mo na asset yung isang teacher, meron naman palang batas na ganito, na probationary period. So, pwede mo siyang i-hire, okay? Pero, kapag hindi naman pala siya pumasa, pwede mo na siyang tanggalin. 'Di ba? So kung sana ang ginawa nila ay ganon, so nandun ako ngayon sa province, wala ako ngayon dito sa harapan ninyo. So blessing in disguise, dahil tinanggihan nila ako doon, nandito ako ngayon sa Parañaque. Section 5 explains the tenure of office of a provisional status. So, the provisional status shall be extended permanent appointment after having rendered at least 10 years of continuous efficient and faithful service in such position. So may pag-asa din naman pala na maging permanent ang isang provisional status, yun nga lang maghihintay ka ng 10 years. Okay, under Section 6, it explains that no teacher shall be transferred without his consent from one station to another. And necessary transfer expenses of the teacher and family shall be paid for by the government if his transfer is finally approved. So for instance, ayaw sa'yo ng principal mo, pwede ka na ba niyang i-transfer ka agad sa ibang station without your consent? So sinasabi dito na no teacher shall be transferred without his consent. So kailangan ang teacher na ililipat mo ay sumasang-ayon na siya ay mailipat. But there is DepEd Order number 22 series of 2013 about the revised guidelines on the transfer of teachers from one station to another. So it states here that while efforts shall be exhausted to secure the consent of a teacher to be transferred, there are certain conditions which can validly be considered as in the exigency of the service, and transfers may be made even without the consent of the teacher. What do we mean by in the exigency of the service? For example, in a particular school, sapat na yung teacher na magtuturo sa mga bata. Okay? So, wala nang load na maibibigay sa'yo. At mayroon namang school na nangangailangan ng teacher. Okay? So, pwede ka nilang ilipat dun sa school na nangangailangan ng teacher. Okay? And transfers may be made even without the consent of the teacher. So sa ayaw at sa gusto mo, kailangan mong lumipat doon. Kung ayaw mo, mawawalan ka ng trabaho. Kung gusto mo, take the risk. Okay? Even without the consent of the teacher. Okay, bakit ba nagkakaroon ng exigency of service? Samantalang this year, okay naman, pero next school year, mayroon ng exigency. Okay? So when the pupil-student-teacher ratio of the school is below 35 is to 1 for elementary and 27 is to 1 for secondary level, except when the school is implementing multi-grade classes. Letter B is when there is a decrease in enrollment in certain schools arising from evacuation due to armed conflict, national disasters, resettlement of families, closure of large private firms in the area, and other similar circumstances. Or when the teacher is declared excess by the principal or school head and his expertise or area of specialization is needed in another school, district, or division. So what's the guide in the decision on whom to transfer? A. Teachers who are last to be hired. Last in, first out. B. Non-residents of the barangay or municipality where the school is located. C. Residents of the barangay or municipality of the proposed recipient school. And letter D. Secondary school teachers teaching subjects other than their areas of specialization. Section 8 is about the safeguards in disciplinary procedure. So, a teacher has the right to be informed in writing of the charges. So, hindi pwedeng suspended kaagad si teacher dahil laging absent, laging late, no? So, bibigyan kanila ng memo. Okay? And that memo is in writing regarding your habitual absenteeism and absences. Letter B is the right to full access to the evidence in the case. For example, ang memo nga sa'yo ay laging late, laging absent. So, ano ang evidence na pwedeng maipakita sa'yo? So, it could be the DTR or the login. Letter C is the right to defend himself and to be defended by a representative of his choice and or by his organization. Adequate time being given to the teacher for the preparation of his defense. So meaning dapat ay naka-schedule ang paghaharap sa kinaukulan. And letter D is the right to appeal to clearly designated authorities. Section 9, Administrative Charges. So administrative charges against a teacher shall be heard initially by a committee composed of the corresponding school superintendent of the division or any authorized representative who should at least have the rank of a division supervisor where the teacher belongs, as chairman, a representative of the local, or, in its absence, any existing provincial or national teachers organization and a supervisor of the division. The last two to be designated by the Director of Public Schools. So the committee shall submit its findings and recommendations to the Director of Public Schools within 30 days from the termination of the hearings. Section 10 states that there must be no discrimination in the entrance, during, and termination of services in the teaching profession based on other than professional consideration. Section 11 is all about the married teachers. For example, yung babae ay nagtuturo sa Mindanao, yung lalaki nagtuturo sa Luzon. Okay, ay nagkakilala, nagkaligawan, so naging mag-asawa sila. So dahil magkalayo sila, pwede silang maging magkasama through this Magna Carta Section 11. Okay? Na sinasabi dito, whenever possible, the proper authority shall take all steps to enable the married couples, both of whom are public school teachers, to be employed in the same locality. So ano ang dapat gawin? So pwedeng si teacher ay mag-seek ng transfer papunta dun sa lugar kung saan nagtuturo yung kanyang asawa. So paano ba yung transfer na yan? So kung mayroong available item, halimbawa yung lalaki ay teacher 1, papunta dun sa Mindanao, okay, so at may available naman dun na item na teacher 1, so pwede siyang mag-seek ng transfer at pwedeng siya ang i-prioritize. Section 12 is about the academic freedom. So teachers shall enjoy academic freedom in the discharge of their professional duties, particularly with regard to teaching and classroom methods. So kung gusto mo ng lecture method, pwede mong gawin yon. Kung gusto mo naman ng interactive method, so you are free to do so. Kung ikaw ay may karamdaman, halimbawa ay may sakit ka, pero pinili mo pa rin pumasok at nagpakopya ka lang sa klase, okay, pwede mo rin namang gawin yon. Huwag lang araw-araw ay pakopya ka lang ng pakopya. Section 3 deals with the hours of work and remuneration. Okay, Section 13 states that a teacher shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. So, ibig sabihin, maximum na dapat yung 6 hours na nagtuturo si teacher. And then the remaining 2 hours will be used in preparation of his instructional materials, DLL, and other related works. However, where there is exigencies of the service, any teacher may be required to render more than 6 hours but not exceeding 8 hours of actual classroom teaching a day upon, but there is an additional compensation at the same rate as his regular remuneration plus at least 25% of his basic pay. Okay, so babayaran na si teacher. Okay, kapag nagturo siya more than 6 hours. Section 14 is about additional compensation. Ito nga, so notwithstanding any provision of existing law to the contrary, co-curricular and out-of-school activities and any other activities outside of what is defined as normal duties of any teacher shall be paid an additional compensation of at least 25% of his regular remuneration after the teacher has completed at least 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. Section 18 is about the cost of living allowance. So, pwede palang magbigay ng cost of living allowance, pero depende sa kakayahan ng provincial government o kaya ay municipality. Kaya ang cost of living allowance na natatanggap ng mga teachers ay iba-iba. No? So, mayroong 2,700, mayroong 3,000, mayroong 2,000, mayroong 1,000, at mayroon ding wala. Depende sa kakayahan nga ng provincial government o kaya ay municipality. Section 21 states that deductions are prohibited except lawful fees owing to the Philippine public school teachers, premiums properly due on the insurance policies shall be considered deductible. Section 4 is about health measures and injury benefits. Section 2 is about the medical examination and treatment. So sinasabi nga dito na compulsory medical examination katulad ng mga x-ray, no, shall be provided free of charge for all teachers before they take up teaching and shall be repeated not less than once a year during the teacher's professional life. However, Section 22 states that in regions where there is a scarcity of medical facilities, teachers may be obtained elsewhere the necessary medical care with the right to be reimbursed for their traveling expenses by the government entity concerned in the first paragraph of this section. Ang tanong, natatamasa ba natin ito? So, kung hindi, dito na dapat pumapasok yung Teachers Act or Teachers Organization. Dahil mayroon palang batas na ganito. Free na, okay, at pwede pang i-reimburse ang ating mga traveling expenses provided na mayroon kang official receipt. Ang sabi nga, kapag may katwiran, ipaglaban mo. Section 5 explains the leave and retirement benefits of teachers. Section 24 is about study leave. So, sinasabi nga dito na after rendering 7 years of continuous service, ay pwede ka nang mag-apply ng study leave. Pero, 1 year lang. At ang kagandahan nito ay nag-aaral ka na, sumisweldo ka pa for 1 year. So, what if after 1 year ay hindi mo natapos at kailangan mong mag-extend? You are allowed to extend pero hindi ka nababayaran ni DepEd. Kaya mahalaga na etong study leave ay i-apply natin kapag tayo ay nagtitesis na o kaya ay dissertation. So, katulad ko, na-enjoy ko yung privilege na to when I'm having my dissertation. So, dahil napakahirap naman talagang mag-thesis at mag-dissertation, so in-apply ko siya. So, na-enjoy ko siya. Kaya napakaswerte nyo dahil ngayon pa lang ay nalalaman nyo na to. Dahil kung nalaman ko lang sana to noon pa man, dapat pala pati yung masteral ko, nung ako ay nag-thesis, ay in-apply ko na rin. So, na-enjoy ko sa masteral, na-enjoy ko sa doctoral. So, napakaganda ng privilege na to, kaya dapat natin tong i-enjoy. Section 25 explains the indefinite leave. So an indefinite leave of absence shall be granted to teachers when the nature of the illness demands a long treatment that will exceed 1 year at the least. So ang kagandahan kasi neto is, for example, na-stroke si teacher. So stroke patient siya. So kailangan ng mahabang treatment na hindi niya alam kung kailan siya gagaling, na kung saan pwede niyang ulit ma-perform yung kanyang duty as a teacher. So, ang kagandahan nito is kapag magaling na siya, anytime ay pwede siyang bumalik sa teaching profession. Section 26 states that public school teachers having fulfilled the age and service requirements of the applicable retirement laws shall be given one range salary raise upon retirement, which shall be the basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay and the monthly benefits. Section 27 states that the teacher is free to organize or join organizations, whether local or national, to further and defend their interests. For example, you want to organize teachers' choir, teachers' rondalia, so you are free to do that. So Section 28 explains the discrimination against teachers prohibited. So it shall be unlawful for any person to commit any acts of discrimination against teachers which are calculated to make the employment of a teacher subject to the condition that he shall not join an organization, be dismissed because of participation in organization, or to prohibit him from carrying out the duties laid upon him by his position in an organization, or to penalize him for an action undertaken in that capacity. This time, let's talk about the Executive Order number 174, establishing the expanded career progression system for public school teachers, signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte under the leadership of Education Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones. Section 2 explains the classroom teaching career line. This shows the classroom teaching career line. So we have now T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, MT1, MT2, MT3, MT4, and MT5. Wherein Teacher 1, Teacher 2, and Teacher 3 are the beginning teachers, and this marks the career stage 1. Likewise, Teacher 4, Teacher 5, Teacher 6, and Teacher 7 are the proficient teachers, and this is the career stage 2. In addition, Master Teacher 1 and Master Teacher 2 are the highly proficient teachers. This is career stage 3. Moreover, Master Teacher 3, Master Teacher 4, and Master Teacher 5 are the distinguished teachers. This is career stage 4. Section 3 states the school administration career line. A Master Teacher 1 can advance to School Principal 1. The advancement to School Principal 1 shall require the attainment of minimum qualifications prescribed for the position and passing the school head assessment. Then, a School Principal 1 can be promoted now to School Principal 2, then to the School Principal 3, then School Principal 4. Section 4 explains the equivalence of positions of school teaching career line and administrative career line. School Principal 1 and Master Teacher 2 are both salary grade 19. School Principal 2 and Master Teacher 3 are both salary grade 20. School Principal 3 and Master Teacher 4 are both salary grade 21. And School Principal 4 and Master Teacher 5 are both salary grade 22. Okay, this shows now that the old positions, Head Teacher 1 to Head Teacher 6, special science teacher 1, special education teacher 2 to special education teacher 5. Okay, in the new positions, tatawagin nato na teacher 3, teacher 4, teacher 5, teacher 6, teacher 7, master teacher 1, and master teacher 2. Section 6 explains the choice of career line. Ang tanong, pwede ba na ang nasa teaching career line ay mag-shift going to the administrative career line? This shows that while an MT1 pursuing a promotion to MT2 shall continue upwards in the classroom teaching career line, the switching to career line to school administration career line is allowed, provided that the individual possesses all the necessary qualifications and expected competencies for the other career line. This time, let's talk about the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. Session 2, the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. So, key topic 1, Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. So, the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers serves as a guide for teachers to exhibit professional disposition in the learning community at all times. It is imperative that you observe and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. In everyday life, you are confronted with the challenges to do the right thing. When you are faced with professional decisions that seem to have ethical implications, there are conditions and provisions of the Code of Ethics that will guide you to determine the best actions. For the key topic 2, as mandated in the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, you have the responsibility to interact positively with parents, community members, and other stakeholders in the school. Communication with parents must be conducted regularly and be kept professional and free from arguments. If you have an issue with parents, community members, or stakeholders, it must be presented during meetings and conferences. As a teacher, you must recognize that education is a public service. Strive to keep the public informed of the programs, projects, and activities of the school. Okay, so this is a required task, the pledge of commitment to be included in your portfolio output. Congratulations! So you've come to the end of this course. Let me end the course with a golden rule. Everything you need to succeed is already inside you. You just have to access your inner power and make it happen. Thank you very much.